You are listening to the It's Your Time podcast, and I'm your host, Certified Life Coach Michelle Arnold Burke. In today's episode, we're discussing the cost of not trusting yourself, even when you're capable. Welcome to the It's Your Time podcast, the podcast where busy professionals like you get the practical solutions and support you need to gain control of your schedule so you can strive to be the best in your career, but without the stress and overwhelm. If you're looking to increase your energy and decrease your stress, you are in the right place. Hello. Welcome back to the podcast, friends. Okay, may I just take a moment and work on some manifesting? Because as I record this podcast, I am looking outside to some ridiculous snow, which is going to continue for many, many hours. And what I want to do is manifest the day that I come to you recording this podcast as I'm looking at a beautiful ocean. So I'm putting it out there for the universe. I talk about it a lot here. Let's all have a collective. Yes, we need the sunshine and we need the ocean. And you know what's so funny? I even think back to when we started this podcast, it was literally in Mark's closet. So we have come a long way, and yet we're always looking to grow. Okay, let's hop into today's episode, because today we are talking about something that I see everywhere, especially in high-performing women across the board. It could be sales, it can be leadership, but so many women face this, and that is the cost of not trusting yourself, even when you are clearly capable. And I want to start with something important. Most of the women I work with do not have a capability problem. Capability is not the issue. Capability is why you were hired, why people depend on you, and honestly, why you're often handed more responsibility than you may have even asked for. Capability is trained, it is rewarded, and it is proven. So the real question underneath it is, do you trust yourself to act on your capability? And do you trust yourself to choose? Or do you trust yourself to say no? Do you trust yourself to take up space, to want what you want without apologizing for it, to stop over-delivering, to earn the seat that you already have? Because here's where it gets expensive, quite honestly. When capability is high, but self-trust is low, you end up outsourcing your decisions, your timing, and sometimes even your goals to other people's priorities or expectations. Think about it. How often do we go to other people for answers that we probably honestly already know ourselves if we would just allow a moment to think about it and to tap into your own intuition? And most women don't label this as a self-trust issue. Instead, we label it as, oh, I just want to get it right, or I don't want to drop anything, or it's easier if I just do it. They're waiting on me, or I just need a little more certainty, or once things slow down, or I'll do that next quarter. And listen, I have lived every version of those sentences. I always tell you, this conversation is a come with me conversation, right? But here's the line I want you to hear. Capability without self-trust doesn't become confidence. It becomes burnout. It becomes over-functioning. There are so many over-functioning high achievers in the world. It becomes resentment. It becomes waiting to be chosen. It becomes performing safety instead of creating possibility. So today, we are going to unpack what actually sits underneath that pattern. And listen, spoiler alert, it's not a personality flaw. It's not, I need more confidence. I hear that a lot. It is not, I need more confidence. And it's definitely not, I just need to push harder. All of this comes from conditioning. It's nervous system wiring. And it's how we were taught to survive in systems that relied on our capability. And by the end of this episode, you will have a clear picture of how self-trust shows up in your leadership, your performance, your relationships, and your ambition, and what opens up when it finally comes back online. And I'm going to give you a tool at the end that you can use to identify your specific pattern through the new Self Trust Audit. I recently shared it on a mentoring call, and I want to make sure you all have access to it. You can take it for free. You get your pattern, you get some information on your strengths, and then just one tiny micro shift that you can make in order to build your self-trust. But first, let's get back to where this actually starts. Because nobody wakes up one day thinking, You know what would be fun? Questioning myself for the next 30 years, right? Most of us didn't learn self trust. We learn capability. We learn responsibility. We learn to anticipate needs before they were even spoken. We learn to take care of the things that would otherwise fall apart. And for a lot of women, that started young. You were the reliable one, the organized one, the kid teachers didn't have to worry about, the one who figured it out, the one who could handle it. And that strategy worked. Let me be clear. It has worked for years. You got praised for it, you got rewarded for it, and sometimes you got left alone because of it, which can be a reward in itself, right? So your brain made a brilliant connection. If I'm capable, I am safe. If I'm capable, I'm valued. If I'm capable, I'm needed. If I'm capable, I belong. If I'm capable, people stay regulated around me. We don't want to rock the boat, right? And that's the contract. It's a powerful one for sure. And then you take that operating system into adulthood. So into work, into sales, into culture, leadership, relationships, sometimes parenting, and the world keeps rewarding it. Because here's the truth. Companies love capable women. They will hand you the entire department before they will hand you a title. And they will give you 5 people's responsibilities before they give you one of their salaries. And you know what's wild? You will deliver. Not because you're trying to prove yourself, but because you don't know any other way to operate. And pretty soon, capability becomes identity. We've talked a lot about identity this month. Capability becomes currency. Capability becomes safety. But here's part that no one warns you about. When capability becomes everything, self-trust becomes optional. And most women don't identify this as a self-trust gap. They identify it as, I'm being a team player, or it's just how I operate. I don't want to ask for too much. Now's not the right time. I'll just figure it out. And underneath all of those sentences is the same pattern. My safety depends on me being capable for other people. Not for myself, for other people. How often do we take care of others and abandon ourselves? And for a lot of high-performing women, the breakdown doesn't happen at the capability level, right? It happens at the permission level. Permission to pause, permission to say no, permission to ask for more, permission to not overfunction, permission to want more without apologizing, permission to not hold the whole thing together every single time. Capability is a skill. Self-trust is permission. So now let's zoom out and talk about the brain, because this is where it finally clicks. Your brain is always doing 3 things: reducing risk, conserving energy, and maintaining belonging. Remember, I've talked about this a number of times here. The motivational triad: avoid pain, seek pleasure, and be as efficient as possible. So risk, energy, and belonging are usually protected by being capable. It's efficient, and the brain loves efficiency. It does not care about fulfillment. It does not care about your desire. It does not care about your dreams and your potential for living your purpose. That is all luxury language to a brain that's wired for survival. So if being capable kept you safe in your family system, you keep doing it. And if being capable got you praised at school, you keep doing it. And if being capable made you valuable at work, guess what? You keep doing it. And eventually, capability becomes the operating system that is so hardwired. But it also becomes your biggest constraint, because the nervous system does not differentiate between being relied on and being used. It just sees high output plus low support plus low permission. And eventually your system says, this is not sustainable. But women don't interpret that message as, I should trust myself more. Have you ever? No. This has been such an eye-opening learning experience for me as I've done this work as well. We interpret this as, I should try harder. It's so fascinating. Now let's make this concrete with sales, because sales culture is the perfect case study. Sales rewards initiative, ownership, decisiveness, speed of execution, and emotional regulation under pressure. But women often translate those into over-preparing, over-functioning, over-accommodating, over-delivering, over-analyzing, and those strategies work at first. They get you the numbers, the relationships, the trust with surgeons, the decision makers, the top rep awards, but they also get you something else. Extra work that isn't paid for, emotional labor that isn't recognized, availability that is not always reciprocated, and responsibility that might not always be shared. Then, when it comes time to ask for the role, ask for the promotion, ask for the raise, ask for the different territory, ask for the support, ask for the resources, it's not a capability that's required. That's when self-trust really comes in. And that's where a lot of brilliant women hit a ceiling that is not talent related. It's permission related. So let's talk about the cost of low self-trust, because it's not just theoretical. It can actually be pretty expensive. There are 4 costs. First, the emotional cost. Second guessing is heavy. Over responsibility is heavy. And most women burn out from emotional labor long before physical exhaustion. The second, the visibility cost. Promotions don't go to the person who is perfect. They go to the person who's visible and in the running. People who self-select get chosen, and people who wait for certainty usually get bypassed. Third, the opportunity cost. When you don't trust yourself, you ask for less, you negotiate less, you tolerate more, and you receive less. Opportunity doesn't just require capability, it requires, can you say it with me? Permission, right? And the fourth, identity cost. This is the deepest one. When the life you're living is smaller than the life you're capable of creating, the nervous system registers that as suffering, not because you're ungrateful, but because you're underexpressed. It's as if you're just not living in alignment, and your soul knows. And here's the moment where most women finally feel it. It's not when someone else gets the job. It's not when you're overlooked. It's when you realize you could have had the thing and you didn't go for it. That's the sting. Now, let's flip it. What happens when self-trust comes online? Decisions get faster, not because you're reckless, but because you're not waiting for someone else to grant you that permission. Leadership shifts from reactive to proactive. Boundaries get cleaner because you're no longer using over-functioning as the price of belonging. And ambition becomes cleaner, not fueled by proving, but fueled by desire. And may we add that that desire can be with a capital D. And here's the part high performers feel immediately. When you step into self-trust, your energy stops leaking. Second guessing is an energy leak. Rumination is an energy leak. Waiting for certainty is an energy leak. Asking for 14 different opinions to justify a decision is an energy leak. And taking on work that isn't yours is an energy leak. And when self-trust is low, you burn enormous amounts of energy maintaining safety. When self-trust is high, that energy goes into creation. That's more when we're talking about being in flow state. So now let's put a little of the neuroscience lens on this, because again, this is not just motivational advice, right? This is operating system efficiency. Self-trust reduces cognitive load. Self-trust increases predictability. Self-trust anchors authority internally instead of outsourcing it. So, little quick translation, self-trust makes your brain's job easier. And when the brain's job is easier, your body stops bracing. When your body stops bracing, execution gets cleaner. And when execution gets cleaner, outcomes improve. And none of this is all woo. It is neuroscience-backed information. Companies are years behind the science, and they spend millions training women to become more capable, more certifications, more programs, more competencies. Meanwhile, what actually shifts performance is requiring less permission externally. So if you take a highly capable woman and you increase her self-trust by 20%, her performance goes up. If you increase her capability by 20%, but her self-trust stays low, her performance stays the same. But her output goes up and her burnout risk skyrockets. In corporate, loves the second version, right? It's profitable. But the first version is where actual leadership emerges. And leadership without self trust is simply overfunctioning with a nicer title. So let's talk about the money because money clarifies a few things here. If you don't trust yourself, you negotiate less, you ask for less, you tolerate more, you delay decisions, you avoid visibility, and you take on unpaid labor. I think that's when you're voluntold to do things, right? And you accept default roles. Financially, think about it, that compounds. Over a 20-year career, the gap between capability only and capability plus self trust is not just a difference in confidence, it's a difference in your net worth. So, what do you actually do with all this stuff that we're talking about today? Rebuilding self trust is not just hype and a sound good. It's not just the motivational, inspirational kind of conversation. It's not just, I will say positive affirmations, right? It's not confidence hacks. It's actually some of the deepest work that you might do. It's three things: pattern recognition, understanding how your system specifically protects you, and micro permission, which is rebuilding agency without triggering your nervous system, and evidence stacking, letting action create proof and letting that action be micro changes over time. You don't need to be fearless. You don't need to be in 100% belief. You just need to stop waiting for certainty before you move. Certainty is always a lagging indicator. And this is why I made the Self Trust Audit. It's totally a fun way for you to be able to look at your specific patterns and find your specific strengths and start to implement micro changes for yourself. And I developed this because not all self-trust gaps look the same. Some people over-strategize, some over-deliver, some over-analyze, some over-function, and some over-plan. Different patterns, same outcome, delayed permission. So the audit takes maybe about 5 minutes, if that, and it's free. And it will tell you your dominant pattern, the strength underneath it, and the micro shift that unlocks momentum. You can grab it at michelleburkecoaching.com/audit. And of course, I will put the link in the show notes. And I will leave you with this. Most women don't need to become more capable. That is how we started this podcast. It is a reminder here as we end it. You need to stop waiting for permission. Capability is common. Self-trust is not. And when women lead from self-trust instead of self-sacrifice, you don't just get better performance, you get better freaking lives. Not because everything becomes easier, but because everything finally belongs to you. So, step number 1, be sure to grab the Self Trust Audit, michelleburkecoaching.com/audit. And I would love to hear what you find. As always, hit me up on the socials. I'm on LinkedIn at Michelle Burke Coaching, Instagram. And of course, you can always send me an email, contact@michelleburkecoaching.com. Okay, that's what I have for you today. Let's meet back here next week. And in the interim, reminder, lead yourself with intention. Don't wait. It's your time. Make it a great day. Take care. Did you know you can take this work to a deeper level with me one-on-one? Go to michelleburkecoaching.com and click on Get Started to begin.